All right, hi everybody, welcome back. It's going to be a short stream. I just want to basically do some quick things that are going to, um, you can kind of think of them as optimizations, not really though. It's just basically some fixes that I want to do to get me set up for improvements in the future. So first thing I want to do is here in my utilities class or my utilities file, I have all these data types that I made just so that I don't have to type out this whole thing every time. But I just want to do a quick check to make sure that everything is the proper size, right? So the U8 should be 8 bits or 8 bytes, no, 8 bits. 16 should be 16 bits, a U32 should be 32 bits, and likewise a U64. So I'm just basically going to do a quick check just to make sure that everything's the right size because I don't know if it is or not. So just temporarily I'm going to include stdio just so I can print some stuff. So let me just do a quick check here. If I just do printf hi, put a new line there. Does that work? Yeah, oh yeah. Shoot. Yeah, this is another temporary thing. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of the win main and I'm gonna put int main just to treat it as a console application, just so I can see the print statements here. Yeah, okay, so that's working. So now I want to print, so let's keep the new line. Percent I want to get the size of my U8, and that should print out 1 because that's 1 byte. And then the size of a U16, a U32, and the size of a U64. So it should be 1, 2, 4, 8. And I'm not getting that. I'm getting 1, 2, 4, 4. So this is not correct. So if I look here, oh yeah, you know what? I think there's this dumb thing where if I want it to actually be 64 bits, I have to call it a long, because that is just the way they decided it to be, I guess. I don't know. And I think that has to be the same for the signed version as well. So let's see if that gives me what I want. 1, 2, 4, 8. 1, 2, 4, 8. Perfect. Okay, yes, that is what I wanted. So now if I change these all to the signed version, I should get the same thing, which I do. Great. And then just to triple check my floats, let's get F32 and an F64. Where does that go away? And I get 4 and 8, which is good. Okay, so that is all kosher. Let's now uncomment all of this. And okay, so if you remember from yesterday, I got this triangle that I'm able to move around. And what I would like to do is get rid of all these hard-coded numbers here because those are dumb, for lack of a better term. So what I want to do is replace these with the delta time, which is basically how long each frame takes to render. And so that will at least help to make it more consistent among different computers, right? Because if I just hard code this 0.1 here, it's only going to be that speed for this exact computer based on like what CPU and all that stuff I have, and I mean everything down to like what software I have installed on my computer. So I want to make it a little bit more, and I do express the term a little bit more frame rate independent, dare I say. So I want to calculate how long each frame takes, and then use that as the basis for how much to multiply my movement. So before my main loop, I'm going to make some variables here. I'm going to use a unsigned 64-bit integer. Actually, no, sorry. So first I'm going to make my delta time. So first delta, I'll just call it delta time. Initialize that to 0. And then now I need a U64 that will be my end time. So this is the time at the end of every frame. And since I haven't ran a frame yet, I'm going to initialize it to 0. And then I need another one that is my start time. And I want to set that equal to the Windows function that'll give me the time. I'm going to use milliseconds. I don't know if that's proper, but that's what I am familiar with. So let's take a look here. I want to say it's get ticks. Oops. Get ticks. Could be completely wrong. Or is it get? No, I don't think so. Get time. Let's just type in get time and see what happens. Time functions. System time. No, that's not what I'm looking for. You sure there's nothing for get ticks? I could have sworn it was get ticks. What if I just type in ticks? Get tick? Get tick count. Is that it? Is that what I'm looking for? Get tick. Yeah. That's what I'm looking for. What was that 64 one? Get tick count 64. Yeah, unsigned long. That is exactly what I'm looking for. Get tick count 64. Okay, so yeah, so the start time is get tick count 64. 64 bits of all that goodness. All right, so that's gonna get the start, and then every time my frame ends, I want to update the end time with the same thing. Get tick count 64. Now I get to calculate my delta time as being the, so I want to cast that to a float, and it's basically the end time minus the start time. And since this is milliseconds, I want delta time to be in seconds. I need to divide this by 1,000. And then once I calculate the delta time, I want to update the start time to just be whatever the end time was. So that way when it loops back around, I will get the most up-to-date version of what the time is. Now I probably should just print this out and see if it's reasonable ahead of time, but I'm not, because I'm cool. So I'm going to just go ahead and replace these with my delta time. And let's just go ahead and test that with the movement. I'm not getting any errors, that's good. And it seems to be working, it's just going really slow. But that's fine, because my delta time is probably a very small number. All right, so I'm gonna also do the same for the rotation here, so that my rotation speed will also be a little bit more uniform. And doesn't really seem to affect much. Everything's working as I would expect. But I also want to be able to modify how fast this camera can move around. So let's go here to our little struct for the camera and add a couple things. Yeah, so I'm gonna have a float for the move speed. and then another one for the rotate speed. And then if I come down here where I'm making my camera, yeah, so after I change the camera's position, let's just go ahead and initialize camera's move speed. Let's just put it equal to 1 for now. And the same for the rotate speed. And then what I want to do is all of these, I want to multiply them by that value. So camera dot move speed. And then these would be camera dot rotate speed. And everything's still working. So I could come here to my camera. So let's make the move speed a little faster. The rotate speed seemed good, so that's good at 1. So let's make that 3 times as fast. There we go. All right. One more thing, I want to be able to move up and down. I can't right now. So I'm going to use R and F as the keys to move the camera up and down, relatively up and down. I mean, along the camera's up vector, I will say. So R and F. So I already got E. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that the F key is just 1 more than the E key. And since I already got S, I'm going to go out on that same limb and assume that the R key is just 1 less, oops, than my S key. All right, so coming back down here, if I just copy and paste programmer's best friend and replace A with R and D with F. And so yeah, I think it's right. If I go up and then, so yeah, instead of camera dot right, I want to go along the camera's up vector. And that's not working. Did I not let it compile? Am I getting errors? What's going on? Oh yeah, key F, undeclared identifier. That is probably because I forgot to capitalize the F key. Boom. All right. Now it's opposite. All right. So I keep forgetting the camera has to go opposite of the world. So when I'm doing R, I actually want to subtract the world's position. And when I'm doing F, I want to add. There we go. So now I can freely, that's the word I'm trying to use, freely move around my triangle. That is awesome. Wait, I'm still getting some wonkiness here. Oh, I guess it's okay. Yep, I can rotate, I can move, I can control the speed of the camera. All right, things are looking good. What am I gonna do now? You know what? I'm gonna turn my triangle into a cube. But, well, I'll start turning it into a cube. I don't really. So anyway, I want to, for next, before I do any sort of like gameplay development, I want to like get a cube and I want to put some very, very basic lighting in there so that you can distinguish the different sides of the cube. You can tell which side of the cube is in darkness versus which side is facing the light. I don't think I'm going to get all the way there tonight just because I wanted this to be short. So I'll get started. I'm going to do as much as I can and then I'll probably give up halfway through. All right, so if I want lighting, I have to add normals, the normal vector to my shape, to my polygon. Yeah, so let's do that. Okay, so let's first of all, let's push this back along the z-axis. Let's say that this is all, actually no, let's push it forward, get it closer to us. So we're going to change that all to 1. And so now I need a normal vector. So the normal vector for this face is just the pointing right at us. So it's just 0, 0, 0.0, and 1.0. Okay, so now that I've added more data to my vertices, I need to modify a bunch of stuff. So I need to add another attribute. This one is going to be the normal. It is the same format as the position. The offset is going to be what this was. And now this offset is going to be 6, right? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I start my texture. That seems good. I want 3 attributes now. And then here my stride is no longer times 5, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I need to change that to an 8. And then one more thing is my shader. I now have to add a 3rd attribute to my vertex. That's the normal. Likewise, that is also the normal. And I think that's it. If I go ahead and run this, I should see no difference, which I don't. But this triangle now has normal data applied to it. All right, so now let's turn the triangle into a cube. All right, so this middle point should have the same x value. And the y value, wait, so x, y, so yeah. And then that should also be positive. And now my texture coordinates are going to change. So that's 0, 0, 0, and then that's 1. So that should be 0. All right, so that's going to be negative 0.5. The normal's the same for every vertex of the face. And then I believe that's going to be 1.0. Okay, so I'm changing my triangle into a plane for vertices. And so yeah, so I'm 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 0. And then I need to tell the function that's drawing the thing to no longer draw 3 indices, but to draw 6 indices. So if I did that correctly, fingers crossed, I'll get a plane, and I do. I'm so excited, yay. All right, let's add a back face to this. But you know what, before I do that, so this is an unsigned short. I can change that to U16, by the way. Okay. Yeah, so instead of hard coding the number like this, I am going to take the size of the indices, and then I'm going to divide that by the size of a unsigned short, and that should automatically give me however many indices I want to draw, so I don't have to update that every time I change how many indices I'm drawing. Okay, so I'm going to add another plane to my cube. And And I'm going to put this one further back, so at -1z. Actually, you know what? Since everything's relative to half, I'm gonna, yeah, let's change this. Jeez, I can't get this to work. Okay, there you go, 0.5, and then this is going to be -0.5. All right. And then, yeah, the normal is going to be pointing away from me. So that's going to be -1, but the texture chords are all the same. And for the sake of my OCD, I'm going to line that all up. Still not lined up right, but I don't care. Okay. So then 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 0. 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 4. All right, so let's see if that works. I should get the back side of my cube. So yeah, I do. I get the back side of my cube, but however, DirectX right now is just rendering pixels in the order that I tell it to. It does not take into account the fact that I am trying to render certain things in front of other things, so it's not occluding the things behind. And if I remember, that's actually quite of a non-trivial process to fix in DirectX. So I'm gonna save that for tomorrow, probably. But for tonight, I'm just gonna finish the cube, even though it's not gonna render the way I want it to render. All right, so if I look at it like that, yeah, it's good, even though I can't see the backside of the faces. Which I could fix that, actually. I can reorder the way that these vertices are being drawn. Yeah. I don't know, the more I think about it, the more it seems like a lot of work, and I don't really feel like getting it all done tonight. So yeah, I hate to say this, but I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I wanted this to be a short stream anyway, and anything more I do is just going to make it longer than I intended. So yeah, I'm just going to call it. Thank you for joining me, if you did. Yeah, see you tomorrow where I fix all this nonsense. Thank you.